Hey everyone, in this video, we'll uncover the most valuable Abraham Lincoln steel penny you should be on the lookout for. We'll break down what makes these Lincoln wheat pennies so special, how much they're worth in today's market, and what you need to know to sell them successfully at auction. First up, the 1943. Lincoln wheat penny is one of the most famous coins in American history, because it was struck in steel instead of the usual copper. During World War II, copper was desperately needed for war materials such as shell casings and electrical wiring. So the U.S. Mint made the unusual decision to change the cents composition for 1 year. In 1943, nearly all Lincoln cents were made from zinc-coated steel, giving them a silvery appearance instead of the familiar reddish-brown copper tone. This makes the 1943 penny instantly recognizable and a favorite among collectors. The obverse still features Victor David Brenner's portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, with "In God We Trust" above liberty to the left, and the date 1943 to the right. Since your coin has no mint mark, it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which struck over 684 million steel cents that year. The reverse design did not change. It still shows two wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent and United States of America with E pluribus unum above. Your coin is described as being in good condition. In coin grading terms, good is on the lower end of the scale, meaning the coin circulated heavily and shows significant wear. On a 1943 steel cent in this grade, Lincoln's portrait is still visible, but worn flat in places with less detail in his hair and face. The date and lettering are readable, though perhaps not sharp. On the reverse, the wheat stalks are mostly outlined, but lack fine detail. Steel cents from 1943 are also prone to scratches, spots, or rust because of the metal composition, and you've mentioned some scratches are present. That is very common for these coins in terms of value. The 1943 Philadelphia steel penny in good condition is not rare, because so many were minted and saved by collectors. In today's market, an example like yours is usually worth around 10 to 20 cents. Slightly higher grade circulated coins, such as those in very fine or extra fine condition, may reach 30 to 50 cents. Uncirculated examples are much more desirable, typically valued at $300 to $500 depending on luster and surface quality, with superb certified pieces going much higher. At the highest levels, Mint State steel cents graded MS67 or above can sell for hundreds or even over $1,000 at major auctions. One thing to keep in mind is that while ordinary 1943 steel cents are common, there are rare varieties that are incredibly valuable. The most famous is the 1943 copper cent, which was struck in error on leftover copper planchettes from 1942. These are extremely rare, with only a handful known from Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. A genuine 1943 copper penny can sell for tens of thousands to over $100,000 depending on condition. There are also error varieties of the steel cents, such as double dies or off-center strikes, which can sell for much more than normal examples. If you ever come across a 1943 penny that looks unusual in color or strike, it may be worth professional examination to sum up. A 1943 steel Lincoln wheat penny with a large date from the Philadelphia Mint, in good condition with some scratches, is typically valued at about 10 to 20 cents in today's collector market. While that isn't a high dollar figure, the coin's real worth lies in its historical significance. It is the only regular issue U.S. cent made of steel, a direct result of wartime needs. For collectors, it is an essential piece of the Lincoln cent story, and for history lovers. Next up, the 1937 Lincoln wheat penny with D Mint mark was struck at the Denver Mint. And like all wheat cents, it is a favorite among coin collectors. The obverse features Victor David Brenner's well-known portrait of Abraham Lincoln, surrounded by the words "In God We Trust" above, liberty to the left, and the date 1937 on the right. Just below the date is the small D mint mark, which tells us this coin was made in Denver. The reverse carries the classic wheat tier design, two stylized wheat stalks framing the denomination 1 cent and the inscription United States of America, with the motto E pluribus unum above. The year 1937 falls in the period between the Great Depression and the beginning of World War II. The Denver Mint struck over 50 million Lincoln wheat pennies that year, making the 1937D a fairly common issue compared to scarcer dates in the series. Because so many were produced and survived in circulation, its value today depends mostly on its condition and whether it has any rare minting errors. Your coin is described as being in good condition with some scratches. In coin grading, good is toward the lower end of the scale. A 1937D wheat penny in good grade will show heavy wear. On the obverse, Lincoln's portrait is flat and lacks detail in his hair and beard, though his outline remains clear. The date and mint mark are still readable. On the reverse, the wheat stalks are worn smooth and the lines inside them may be mostly gone. Scratches and dirt are common on coins that circulated for decades, but they do lower eye appeal and value compared to cleaner examples. As for the coin's value in today's market, a 1937D wheat penny in good condition with scratches usually sells for about 10 to 20 cents. In higher circulated grades, such as fine or very fine, the value rises slightly to around 25 to 50 cents. Extra fine examples can sell closer to $1. Uncirculated 1937D pennies are much more desirable, often ranging from $500 to $1,500 depending on color and luster. Bright red uncirculated examples certified at high grades can bring $50, $100 or more at auction. Collectors also watch closely for error varieties from the lender mint in 1937. Some repunched mint marks, RPMs, doubled dies, or off-center strikes are known. These errors can boost the value of a coin considerably, sometimes to $250, $500, or more, depending on rarity and condition. Because mint mark varieties are especially popular with wheat penny collectors, it's always worth checking a 1937D closely under magnification. To summarize, your 1937D Lincoln wheat penny in good condition with scratches is worth about 10 to 20 cents in today's collector market. While not a high-value coin, it is still an important piece of history from the pre-World War II era and a key part of the wheat penny series. Even lower-grade examples like this are worth holding on to, especially for collectors building a complete set of dates and mint marks. Next up, the 1953 Lincoln wheat penny with D mint mark is another fascinating piece of American numismatic history. Struck at the Denver Mint, this coin belongs to the long-running Lincoln cent series that began in 1909 and continued with the wheat reverse until 1958. On the obverse, we see Victor David Brenner's portrait of Abraham Lincoln, which had already been in use for over 40 years by 1953. Above Lincoln's head is the motto "In God We Trust." To the left of the portrait is the word "Liberty," and to the right is the date 1953 with a small D mint mark just below the numbers. On the reverse, the design showcases to stylized wheat stalks curving along the edges, framing the words 1 cent and United States of America with the motto E pluribus unum at the top. This reverse design is the reason collectors often refer to these coins as wheat pennies. The 1953D wheat penny was produced in large numbers. The Denver Mint struck over 700 million examples that year, making it one of the more common issues from the 1950s wheat penny series. Because of this massive mintage, many of these coins survive today in circulation or tucked away in collections. and their value depends largely on the condition of the coin rather than scarcity. Your coin is described as being in extra fine condition, with some scratches. In coin grading, extra fine XF means that the coin still has much of its detail visible, though it shows light wear from circulation. On an extra fine 1953D penny, Lincoln's hair and beard lines are worn but still sharp in many areas. The lettering is bold, and the wheat stalks on the reverse retain most of their inner detail. Scratches, however, do impact the coin's appearance. They don't necessarily reduce the grade if they are light, but they can affect collector interest and therefore the coin's market value. So, what is a 1953D wheat penny in extra fine condition worth in today's market? Typically, these coins sell for around 20 to 40 cents. If the scratches are heavy or the coin appears dirty, it might be closer to the lower end of that range. Cleaner, extra fine examples, even if lightly circulated, tend to bring slightly higher values. Moving up the scale, uncirculated 1953D pennies, with their original red luster, can be worth anywhere from $2 to $10, depending on their grade and eye appeal. High-grade mint state coins graded MS66 or MS67, especially those with a vibrant red color, can sell for $50 to several $100s at major auctions. Collectors also look for errors and varieties among 1953D pennies, repunched, mint marks. RPMs, die cracks, and doubled dies are all possibilities that can raise the value significantly. For example, certain RPM varieties from 1953D are known to bring values of $20 to $50 or more, depending on rarity and condition. Checking your coin carefully under magnification is always a good idea to see if it might be one of these special varieties. In summary, your 1953D Lincoln wheat penny in extra fine condition with some scratches generally carries a value of about 20 to 40 cents in today's collector market. While not a high-dollar coin, it represents an era when pennies were still struck primarily in copper and bore the classic wheat design that collectors cherish. Its historical significance, large scale production, and collectible charm ensure that it still holds a place of value in many collections. Next up, the 1956 Lincoln wheat penny with D. Mint mark is one of the later issues of the Wheat Cent series and comes from the Denver Mint. The obverse of the coin features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, with the motto "In God We Trust" above his head, the word "Liberty" to the left, and the date 1956 with a small D mint mark beneath it to the right. On the reverse, the classic wheat ears design frames the denomination 1 cent and United States of America, along with the Latin motto E pluribus unum. This wheat design was used from 1909 until 1958, making the 1956D one of the last issues before the memorial cent design replaced it in 1959. The Denver Mint struck an enormous number of these coins, over 1.09 billion pieces in 1956 alone. Because of this high mintage, the 1956D wheat penny is very common and is still found in circulation, coin rolls, and collections. Its abundance means its collector value is modest, and condition plays the largest role in determining how much an individual coin is worth. Your coin is described as being in fine condition with some scratches. On the coin grading scale, fine condition indicates that the coin has circulated enough to show noticeable wear, but the major details remain clear. On a fine grade 1956D penny, Lincoln's portrait is worn, with flattened details in the hair and beard, though his outline and features are still visible. The reverse design will show wear on the wheat stalks, with many of the inner lines smoothed out. Scratches from handling or circulation can further reduce eye appeal, though they do not usually disqualify the coin from being collectible. As for today's market value, a 1956D Lincoln wheat penny in fine condition with scratches is typically worth around 5 to 10 cents. This modest value reflects both the coin's commonness and its grade. In higher circulated grades, such as very fine or extra fine, the value can increase slightly to 15 to 30 cents. Uncirculated examples of the 1956D are more desirable, with bright red mint state coins selling for $2 to $5 and lower, mint state grades, and significantly higher in superb gem grades. Certified coins graded MS66 or MS67 with strong red luster can fetch $1.52 to $200 at auction. It's also worth noting that some error varieties exist for 1956D pennies. Collectors prize repunched, mint marks, RPMs, doubled dies, and off-center. Strikes from this year. Certain RPM varieties can sell for $20 to $50 or more, depending on rarity and condition. So, while the standard 1956D in fine condition is only worth a few cents, finding a recognized error variety could make your coin much more valuable. In summary, your 1956D Lincoln Wheat Penny, in fine condition with scratches, holds a value of about 5 to 10 cents in today's collector market. While it may not be rare or high in value, it is still a genuine piece of American coinage history from the final years of the wheat cent era. Its large mintage ensures it is widely collected by those completing wheat penny sets, and uncirculated or error examples remain in demand among numismatists.